and then allow. Hello everyone, we are going to start in a few more moments, so just wait for a while, yeah? And we are also putting this live on my Facebook, so anyone who wants to join in, they can come and join in while we begin. Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Derek Ong, and this is the final lecture on Sustainable and Social Marketing Guest Lecture Series for the Sustainable and Social Marketing subject. I sound like a podcast, I know, for this semester of June 2022. So I am very, very happy to invite our very distinguished speaker today, Mr. Andrew Lee, who used to serve as the corporate communications and public relations of internal communications and also the vice president and head of group internal communication strategy and dissemination in Maybang. Now today his talk is going to be about effective corporate sustainability communication. Andrew, while I'm talking, maybe you can turn on your video to get ready.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, hi. And I'm just going to stop sharing the screen so you can get your slides ready. So I'm very pleased to have him because I had a run through with Mr. Andrew, and we are going to have a very, very good talk today because he's going to bring with us a wealth of knowledge. Lots of things that he's going to share with us today are very relevant, not only for the students, but also for the corporate to understand why it is important for us to do proper corporate sustainability reporting and communication. So without further ado, Andrew, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. First, my apology if there are some glitches in Zoom because this is my second time or third time I'm using Zoom, and thanks to Dr. Ong for leading me through how to use it. Okay, what I'm going to share today is, I hope, going to be relevant, especially to the student, so that when you go out to the business world or the working world, you will play a part in sustainability development in probably the company that you work in, or even in your personal life. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is based on experience on what we did in Maybank. Okay, so I think I'll start now. I have given the slide to Dr. Ong, so some of them I will just skim through. You just look at the slide for details, whereas those that I want to emphasize will be the header will be in red. Okay, let's start. Now, where is my desktop? Can you see it? Can you see the slide?
No, I see the desktop. I see the desktop. And I will pass the slides to everybody after your talk, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Because I want them to really concentrate on what you have to say.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
the slide.
And we will once Mr. Andrew is finished with his talk. Of course, we will open the floor for some Q&A, which I'm sure a lot of people will have Q&A session after this. Yeah.
Okay, you can see?
Yes,
Okay.
I can see. Perfect.
Okay, I'm going to share on what corporate sustainability is, as well as what is corporate responsibility. There is some people think that it's distinct, but to me, it can be more or less shared together in terms of meaning. But generally, it will be corporate responsibility first. At the bottom will be your sustainability development that you take care of. And then under sustainable development, the granular part or the detail part, one of it will be community relations, or what you call CSR. So that's my experience in Maybang. Okay. And I work with some of the present leaders in today. One of them is my dear friend, the Minister of Finance. I used to write his speeches too. Okay, these are some of the awards which I was part of the team to produce the report that Maybang won. Okay, so I left in 2018. So I checked the 2020 sustainability awards, and I'm so happy that Maybang continues to take the lead in sustainability report, and it has kind of progressed. The sustainability report that we started in 2011, which was the second. The first was by BII in 2010, because we took over that bank in Indonesia. It has more or less gone into a more comprehensive presentation, based because of how we have adopted the standards. We expanded the standards to produce the sustainability report. Okay, so the discussion topic will be along these general lines. Yeah, okay, what is corporate sustainability? And the second one will be the CS versus the CSR, and why CS is becoming very important now in business. Yeah, it's also a global initiative and is catching on in many countries. And how to communicate CS issues. Okay, communication is not only the one that you see on social media. It's when you have leaders, okay, leaders sharing CS issues of their company, either to stakeholders or to internally to staff. So there are different ways and formats, and I will just share some of it that is being practiced where I was working, which will perhaps apply to generally to many others. Of course, the approach might be different depending on who is delivering the message. This is very important when you're talking about communication. You must know who is delivering the message, because from there you'll be able to craft your content and share the information. Is it the CEO? Is it the sector head? Okay, is it the marketing head? Or is it you? Okay, in terms of CS and business, these are the questions that we need to ask, you know, when we are considering CS issue. Is it part of your business? Is it also synonymous with CSR? Okay, do you do CS on a voluntary basis or because you are compliant? There's a legal requirement. Say Maybang is a public listed company, so under the public listed Bursa guideline, we need to issue CS reports. So that's a legal requirement. Another is when you have CS initiatives, how do you benchmark? This is very important. You need to benchmark against best practices, not do it for the sake of doing. I will share a slide in terms of the percentage of companies who are issuing CS, and more importantly, the quality of the CS report. Yeah, it's no point just issuing something that has no substance, just to meet a legal requirement. And the last one is it only about charity and philanthropic activities? So there is actually no universal definition of sustainability. But for me, it's just a journey in the sense that it takes a long time for the company to adopt CS initiatives. It's not about CSR. It's not about philanthropic. It's the whole gambit of the business, from the board in terms of line authority to how you serve your stakeholders. Yeah, so it is a journey and it involves several steps. And it may take many years. When Maybang embarked on its CS initiatives, when it first published in 2011, I'm so glad that last year they had a CS board, a committee headed by a board member, which will look into CS issues. So when you have a board or a body that looks at it, you will be able to track, collect data, issue policy, and there will be check and balance. So this is very important. So it takes many years depending on the organization role. But what's important is embracing sustainability is actually a wider social goal, because if Malaysia, if we take CS issues seriously, it's because the global community is doing it. So I will share one slide on how it adds the international, the global aspect of CS under the UN. So corporate sustainability, actually, it falls under three main areas: the environment, the economic, and the social needs. So under each of these pillars, there are different areas where you look at how the business is implementing CS issues. Yeah. So this is what it is, So CS issue is not only building a home for an orphanage or giving scholarship. It's more than that. Yeah, I'm sure Dr. Ong has, discussed all the other issues concerning CS with you. So these are some of the pointers. You can read it later in the slides that Dr. Ong will share with you. Yeah, what it is. So these are the three pillars. So the economic aspect will talk about the impact on economic conditions on, see the global level here. And then the environmental issue, meaning also your carbon footprint. For Maybang, it is how much electricity do you use? How much paper do you use? So these are the things, like if you open a branch, yeah, even the lighting, So these are the environmental issues. And also for Maybang, they are very serious in terms of their lending procedures. When they lend to a company, we also look at the EES of that company, whether we are financing a company that promotes CS. And the last aspect is where we are most familiar with a relationship with communities and our stakeholders. Yeah. So some of the guidelines of CS at the international level, you have the UN, which a lot of member nations have signed on to the agenda. And on the national level, we will see the CS initiative spearheaded by the government. And the latest is under the 12 Malaysia plan. Okay, and under the sectoral level, Maybank as a banking center, it will be guided by Bursa Malaysia requirement as a legal entity. So CS is not only one document that fits all. No. So it is afterwards I'll show you a slide where the guidelines for sustainable development is also covering all sectors of business. So each level supports companies in creating. So where suppose when you go out to work, say you're working in property development, so the CS requirement there is maybe a bit different from banking or maybe those who are in the supply chain, yeah, okay, or food production. So on the international level, this is what most countries are anchoring their national CS agenda or sustainable development agenda on. And the GRI is the benchmark that many companies are using for sustainable development, measuring sustainable development. So Malaysia, I just mentioned, is under theme 3. And because Maybang is under public listed company, is guided by the Bursa Malaysia Survey Report guideline. And also because it's also a GLC in the early years, is guided by the GLC SR guideline. So this is the GRI. So as I mentioned, the GRI has universal standards and then the sector standard. And under the sector standard, the topic standard means that, say, if you are talking about management, okay, line of authority, they will look into, is there a board that oversees the management? Is there check and balance? Okay, so on the, say, community side, they will look at how many % of your company profit is devoted to community service. And out of the community service, you can always split down how much do you give for education, you know, for other areas of CS development. Okay, so as you can see, these are some of the specific granular aspect of the guidelines. So the GRI standard covers the 3 areas that I mentioned. So depending on the sector you're in and the kind of activity you're doing, you just refer to that guide. And this is very important. When you do a CS sustainability report, what they'll do is they will look, say, in terms of your management, the line of authority. Then they will look at the guidelines for line of authority, whether you have a board, whether you have an audit committee, you know, whether they are check and balances. So that from there they will score. So depending on how you score, your sustainability reporting will get a grade every year. Yeah, the higher your grade means the better you are in sustainability development, and in the sense that it does impact on your business. Now I have a video clip that you can look at later on how to use the GRI. Remember, it's very important when you go out to work, and if the company is looking at the sustainability reporting or sustainability development, which is the guide that is the universal one, think of the GRI. There are third-party consultant firms that offer their services for you to write your SR. Like Maybang, we had somebody from outside. She's very good to prepare our SR. But a good SR is not about writing. It's about data collection. It's about analyzing the data and about being transparent. So on the national level, as I was mentioning, there's a 12 Malaysia Bank. And under that, the third theme talk about sustainability. Yeah. So this is the agenda on a third Malaysia plan, where many of companies in Malaysia operating will also draw upon, you know, the focus their priorities on also aligning with our national agenda. And even the Malaysia plan is also linked to achieving the UN 2030 agenda. Okay, I mentioned earlier that the things that you do is interconnected. We are a global village. We don't do things just, for the sake of Malaysia. Yeah, so when you are going out to work, you need to at least think international or global. Yeah, in whatever benchmark that you want to use to improve yourself. So this is a 2030 agenda of sustainable development if you are interested to know what it is about. Yeah. Now, the sustainable reporting guideline of process measure is also quite detailed. I had a look at it, and it's a dynamic guide in the sense that it's improving based on feedback. Okay, and what is important to know about this sustainable reporting guideline is it helps the company to align their resources, okay, to align their resources, the policy, their processes, to at least comply with the requirement of the sector. Yeah, so there is a guide. So these are the two important publications from the guideline. One is the report itself, and the other the performance data. The performance data also shows the quality of the SR report. So this is what I want to share. The KBMG survey on the 97 of our top 100 companies have SR information in their report. Okay, so this is also aligned with 80% of the world's largest company. So what Maybang has done, which I'm very happy, is we have the annual report and then we have the sustainability report. So they are two different things. Yeah. For me, if you subsume it under the annual report, the priority is not as high as if it's a separate report. Yeah, I hope you understand. So NACRA is an important organization that gives awards to the best sustainability report, in the sense that it encourages company to have good quality SR. This is the FNN won it last year, the best SR report. Okay, this is the compliance is here, which is very high. Yeah, 98% of those in the publicly listed companies report. But look at the quality. Yeah. So depending on the market cap, the lower the market cap seems to give less emphasis on quality. So we hope, I hope that everyone will treat have a responsibility to issue high standard of reporting. Not just because you are a small company with a small market cap, you can just, as we say, slimpy do it to meet a requirement. That's not how business works nowadays. Because you have to think in terms of nowadays, the stakeholders, who are the consumers. Are you proud to be associated with this particular company or brand? Yeah, I think I'm not sure about you, but for me, I align with companies and brands that support, SR issues. So these are the winners of the NACRA award on sustainability alone. Okay, and I think Maybang is somewhere there. Right. Now I want to focus on the sustainability report on Maybang. I mentioned that the 2011 was the first issued by Maybang. The first actually BII. Yeah, when Maybang bought over BII. But the one that was issued by the Maybang Group in Malaysia, the Maybang Group, is a sustainability report. So we are guided by 1, 2, 3, 4. At the time 2011, the Silver Book was one of the important guidelines for the GLC transformation. And this year, the 2020 guideline and thereafter, you notice that the GRI standard is still there, the brochure is still there, and Bursa has issued their authoritative guideline. So as I mentioned earlier, sustainable development is a long process. It's not that it's one document that fits all. So we have to, in the sense, move with requirement. So this is a comparison of the 2011 guidelines and the 2021. This is very important because without these guidelines, you will not be able to provide the pertinent information. You won't be able to identify whether what you are doing is as sustainable development. Yeah. So without these guidelines, you will definitely not be doing things that are considered sustainable development. Right. How do you identify? If you look at I hope after this you will spend time to look at least at a sustainability report. How do you identify that what the business is doing is aligned with, example, the GRI? So I have this example here, down here. So on the up and lifting community aspect, the granular aspect of the sustainability development issue is, say, on education, community arts. These are the things that Maybang does, okay, with the community. So it will tell you what page, the report is, in this case 66, and it will tell you the disclosure of all this is found in GRI 431. Okay, so you are able to measure, what you do against this standard, and you are scored on it. Yeah. So why is this important? This is important because you are forced, or you are required to keep data correctly over a period of time. That's why in the report, what I like about Maybang is that when we provide data, it's over at least a 3 to 5 year period. So you can see the progress. What is required also in the SR is, what's the status of the initiative, of the Sustainable Development Initiative? So in 2019, they had this target and it's achieved. 2020, they're supposed to cover 70 schools and reach how many students in how many countries, partly achieved, but due to impact. So 2021, they have new things and in progress. So next year, when you write your SR, you will need to give a follow-up of this, and that's how you will be scored. It's not a just do one time and forget about it. Then it's not sustainable. It's not considered sustainability. Okay, you don't do ad hoc things in business. Yeah, there must be some continuity. It means if you have sustainability, it means that you have a vision and mission. There is a plan. So you focus your resources, you fine-tune your processes, and you deliver products and services which are aligned to whatever your priorities are. Yeah. Okay, so now I want a short break. If there are any questions, you can ask me before I proceed to the communication part, which to me is more interesting.
Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? My question is, can I have the steamboat or not?
Actually, all the photos that I use here is copyright.
Okay.
It's mine. Most of them is mine. I had this steamboat, so I just took a photo last week.
I'm just gonna give anybody has any questions they want to ask before, because I think what Mr. Andrew is doing, he's just breaking up his talk to two parts. But is there anybody in the audience that has any questions they want to ask?
Especially what is corporate sustainability or sustainability development?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Lee.
Hi, Ben.
can I ask, for whatever that the Maybank is doing, there is a cost which Maybank can well afford. But to SME or smaller entities, how do they really track the cost, the time spent against the productivity increase, or perhaps even say cost down? That's
Okay.
question one. Question two is, I see that Maybank has done great things in terms of the corporate as a whole. But has there been any initiative to actually bring ESG down to the level of the employees? For instance, encouraging the staff to come carpool, or coming up with some kind of corporate programs where there are less cars travel to Maybank offices. I mean, subject to practicability, of course. Like recently, Maybank has shifted its office to ICT.
Yeah.
And I guess this might be a good time to revisit the possibility of carpool if most part of the corporate employees coming out of Shah Alam, which is actually a congested area during peak hours. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, the first question is, as I mentioned earlier, the corporate sustainability reporting does not focus on only one aspect of a business activity. There's a granular part. Say it's for the SME, the GRI can also look at the administration, the line of authority, what's the power of the CEO, what's the power of the directors, is there check and balance, in a sense that what is how is remuneration given to the board members or to the CEOs, and how does management, in a sense, provide, in terms of fair employee, what's that word I want to use? Employee remunerations, So it's not only operational issue. Even for SME, the operational issue would be your carbon footprint, probably. Yeah. What do you do with the waste products produced? Where do you procure your raw materials? And if you procure from suppliers, are these suppliers also, in a sense, practicing ethical business standard? Not like just chopping down trees or doing mining that damages the environment. So it's not only the dollar and cents part. Okay, that's why I mentioned the GRI has the broad policy, have the sectoral, and then the granular part, which are all the details of a business operation. Yeah. So the SME have to decide, in a sense, okay, if you want to include SR in your business, number one, you have to allocate resources in terms of, maybe first thing is manpower. Who is going to track? Yeah. Who is going to, in a sense, look at our operation and compare it with, say, the GRI? Is it aligned to sustainable development? How can we align the present one? Take what you are doing now, easier to align with first. That doesn't cost much in terms of maybe spending. Yeah, maybe. And if you look at even overtime for staff, are they working too long hours? It's also part of the GRI standard for sustainable development, which brings to the second question. Now I may have left Maybang, but I still know, because I still keep in. I just had a lunch with some of my staff in my department. They work. They go to office once a week, once or twice a week. The rest is working at home. Okay, and if you look at the Maybank annual report and the social report, they have, especially on the, because I'm very more familiar with the HR side. they have come up with many policies, yeah, regarding working at home, encouraging safety for staff. So it's being undertaken, yeah. But the odd thing is, or the challenge of working at home is the mental issues of staff. And they are seeing it. Yeah, I may be wrong. It may have changed, but in February when I spoke to one of the HR, she said that we do provide counseling, yeah, to those who need to work at home, in a solo environment. It's the Gen Z who finds it a challenge to cope working alone, which I was surprised. I thought they're happy to be working alone. Whereas the Gen X and Y are able to adapt. So I'm interested to find out the reason. Maybe Dr. Ong may have more information on that. But as far as Maybang is concerned, they have a very strong employee welfare, taking care of welfare, which I will discuss in the second part. On the SR issues related to HR issues. Does that answer your question, Ben?
Yes, thank you very much.
Staff are encouraged to work at home. And it's just that one of my staff said, I'm supposed to report my ex-staff work on Wednesday, but I couldn't go because I was close contact. So she's mandatory, she has to stay at home. Okay, so the bank provides. Well, bank will provide you with the necessary resources. If you need a PC, you can get it. Yeah, it's like what the government does, right? They want e-learning, provide computers, and also provide internet access. You don't have to climb up coconut tree to do it.
I think that is very good, because I also wanted to ask you about the SME question. So thanks, Ben, for asking the question. Andrew, for the essence of time, maybe we can just move on to your favorite part of the presentation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is just there's a fine line between what is CSR and CR. So you can read through it. Yeah, but I have a chart here which shows the difference between corporate sustainability and CSR. CSR is normally looking back, this is what we did, this is what we did. Whereas CS is moving forward, how to secure a future, meaning it looks at the whole organization structure, processes, yeah, and of the organization. So it targets the whole value chain. Whereas CSR, you go and give some computer, you want to influence certain groups of people. So corporate sustainability is about business. This is about social responsibility. Okay. Now, this is very important in terms of management. It should be driven top down. Yeah. Whereas CSR is normally communication team or PR, right? Normally, yeah. And nowadays they have influencers. You get a personality to tag along, to show that, oh yeah, even the K-pop people are also following us, something like that. Okay, so the drive for society is to create new opportunities. Meaning, if you are a caring corporation, you'll be able to spread your wings. Yeah. Whereas this is to protect yourself, means, oh, we are already here, we are doing something good. Whereas for CS is, we are here, we have done something good, and we go to another place, you can assure us we will continue to do good. So that's the difference. Okay, now there is a useful read which I have put here. And this is useful to distinguish what is CSR, CR and SP. So just to recap, yeah, why is sustainability practice important? The brand value and your business survival, and more important, that we leave something for the future. Okay, don't mine until we become rich and then your generation had to do the cleanup. Yeah. So I like what the UNESCO, has aligned with the sustainability development. is mankind owes the child the best it has to give. I think that's the bottom line of sustainable development for any company. Yeah. So this is about Maybang, where because it has a sustainable reporting line and governance, you see here, it shows that the company is serious that the whole chain of its business is aligned or close to or will introduce. So when you have a kind of, well, I don't know, gatekeeper, maybe, or policeman, you will, these are the benefits. Yeah, this is very important. So you incorporate as part of your DNA, it is structured. You commit resources instead of people, you know, you change your policy, you spend money, and it becomes part of organization and it's measurable. This is very important. Yeah, no more the days of I feel like doing it, I do. Okay, next. Right, I think you are familiar with the medium is a message. And these are the different, nowadays social media seems to be the fancy of many, thinking that the message will be delivered. I'm not on Facebook. I left Facebook, even though they may have how many billion customers. So you can imagine if whatever you post on Facebook, how successful you are in communicating or sharing your belief. I will share that as the last two slides. Huh? Okay, the medium is this. Okay, the medium is how it shapes a message. For me, because I work in the communication, the message is more important. You may have all the fireworks blasting in the sky, but if the fireworks is only one color, it's boring. So the color part is the message. Yeah. So here is how the medium and the message. So remember, the medium is just a delivery tool. Okay. What is very important is if you select the medium, it will also determine your messaging. Okay. How in-depth you want to be, how ambiguous you want to be, how general you want to be, how long-winded you want to be, how technical you want to be, how canggih in terms of multimedia you want to add it. Okay, these are things you have to consider. Don't say, oh, let's post everything in Facebook so they're dumb. I used to audit, check the language of Maybang to you web page. So they will say, oh, we have informed them in our web page. I said, yeah, out of the 2000 HTML page, where is it found? Yeah, I say trying to look for information in Maybang web page is like, excuse me, Maybankers, you're listening. It's like calling Maybang to you call center. Maybe not that bad. I'm not sure. But seriously, how many of us read Maybang to you website other than landing page and how to log in to play share or how to log in account? That's all. The rest of it, you go in. I will share with you the Maybang sustainability, the sustainability development website. You go into it, you see a wealth of information how it can guide you to develop your sustainability development programs. Okay, so remember the medium for us. We have face-to-face, the channel that we use. This is the one that we are the published copy of our internal. This is called now My Maybanker. The Maybanker, I was so wow, very corporate it looks. This is the printed copy. We also have the online copy. So the internal comms is in charge of the so-called internal website for communication. So for us, the channels that we employ to share whatever is happening in the bank, example, SD initiatives or CR initiatives, is the town hall, roadshow, the breakfast session. Is very unique in Maybang. The CEO and the board, the exco will hold breakfast session weekly or twice a week with staff from different levels. There they'll sit around over breakfast and just talk your heart out. Okay. And it is from there that the management gets to hear what's happening on the ground level. Okay. And if things are not right, the CEO will go back and contact the sector head. Hey, what's up? Can you tell me? So it's also an area of the channel that we use to share information. Now Zoom and video is very important. Now huddles, Dr. Ang was, I think what's huddles? For me, we have for the internal communication side, we have huddles in the sense that in Maybang, there are huddles means once a week, let's say my internal com get together, sit for half an hour together and talk about the department, talk about issues that have been shared. Okay, so huddles is a way of communicating as a team. So for us, we have internal com representative in all the sectors. So they will have huddles with their team members. They say, hey, there's a new HR policy on which is true. This is a real example on people who go for our voluntary Cahaya Kasih is a voluntary program. So if you spend time there, you're given time off. You know what I mean? So these are new things to start because just to be very honest, how many people read internal com? They don't. Okay. So this huddles, human contact, whether you like it or not, I'm old school, is still important. So these are the channels that we use. And we have the corporate website, including the social media platform. I was just talking with some of the Maybang to you people last month. I said, what's the point of having a live chat in Maybang to you? When I want to have a live chat, I'm waiting as long as getting an answer from call center. You get what I mean? So they say, oh yeah, you have to rethink that. I say, don't shock sendiri because it's live meeting. The thing I want to share is on the concept of plug and play. We think plug and play means plug in and play. No, I'm from an era where if I drop my cards, I drop my computer program. So plug and play to me means you buy a program, even with the latest computer, you plug in, you go and play a football, play a badminton. After coming back, only then you can start using your software. It's not immediate. Okay. So this is the channel that Bursum has used, the medium for their sustainability report. This is Maybang's sustainability report. Yeah. So you can have a look. And this is the printed copy. This is the 2011. Most of the pictures are mine actually. Now, this one are all I think they bought. So to me, the message is important. So you can read in the slide in details. So for me, a good message aligns with the interests. This is what I want to share. Sorry, let me go up. It aligns with the interests and concerns important to the audience, meaning the listeners. Okay, as well as it syncs with the business. You know what you are doing is because it's aligned to the business. Yeah, you just don't do anything to the customer to make the customer shocked. In the sense that customer may use your product, after that, they don't have any brand affinity or love for your product. Yeah. So effective messaging includes all this. I think this is just communication 101 that you can read up. I'm just sharing this. Okay, this is what I was explaining to. Because I'm in internal com, I have to do a lot of writing. When I was in PR, I have to draft most of the messages for the board members, chairman, CEO, so on. Even for Tun M, if he comes to visit us. So we know the KISS concept, right? I think most of us know. It's keep it short and simple. Say, what I want to say is express then impress. Okay, so just because your CEO is Harvard graduate, you throw a lot of Harvard words. Yeah? Don't do that if you can. Avoid unnecessary jargons, yes, people always say, but then you need to explain new buzzwords and taglines that your company is using. When Maybank introduced humanizing, what is humanizing financial services? Not many people understood it. They thought humanizing means that I go and give money, I go and do charity, you know. No, it's not that. So it took us like 3 years to explain what humanizing is. No, it was a challenge to me, you know. But now you ask any main bankers, they know what's humanizing. Or even the tiger value, TIGR, teamwork, integrity, growth. R is what? Respect. TIG. R is relationship, sorry. E is efficiency. Our relationship means with staff, with customers. Okay. So what's important is all your message, even in SD messages. I had a chance to read one of the report that Dr. Ong shared from one of the students. I was trying to look for one key takeaway from the report that I would remember. You know, it was kind of difficult because there were too many things there reporting. You know, you think that when you're in the university, you need to be statistician, report statistics, you know. Hello, we are not playing empat echo number and hope to strike something. No? And the last part, which to me, I'm very passionate about, even in all the posters I do in my internal communication, and even when I craft messages for management, is space for a voice, meaning feedback. I want to contact you for further information. Give a contact number, contact person, yeah, the time suitable, you know, even the channel. Yeah, these are the. Now, this is a new concept I introduced when I was in communication. Also, kiss S if necessary. S is add some strategy, meaning what the CEO is saying, what your report is saying, it must be tied to, as I said, the bigger picture. Maybe a sustainable development policy. Yeah, or it is aligned to Maybank Tiger value. You know, what is the Tiger value? TIGR is aligned to teamwork, or is it aligned to integrity? Yeah, being honest, or is it aligned to? So that is where we try to let staff understand that what they are doing, they are an important, you know, that cog in the whole process. Yeah. So it provides clarity. And this is where I hope that when you are doing reporting or when you're out there working in life, make sure that whatever you're reporting in the introduction and all this, there's some S there. But what is important in this is you can also fall in the trap of being always so strategic, meaning CEO talking again, all up in the clouds. Why is it in for me? I don't know. Yeah. So avoid being too much of policy talk. Yeah, without substance. But important is add in some strategy. So I will share some example of my internal comms. Even the reporting in sustainability report, how what we do is linked to that strategy. Yeah. Add some strategy here. This is why we are doing this. What is our differentiator? And this is what we are guided in, the strategy part. Okay, this is very important for us whenever we are doing a communication, if it's SR or SR, even CEO speaks to third party or internally, we always try to link it. We must link it actually to our values. Yeah, there is a moral, ethical standard that Maybankers live by. If no ethical standard, we can all do what we want. Yeah, okay. Okay, that is, I think most important is here. Whose perspective are you? First is who is giving the message. If the CEO or chairman is giving the message, there's a different way of delivering your message, your corporate sustainability message, and I will share that. And who your audience is. You don't have high strategy ASS when you are giving solar bulbs to typhoon victims. Don't talk about, oh, Maybang strategies, this is our vision, this is teamwork. These people out there is, excuse me, can you teach me how to use this solar bulb? That's what they're interested in. So the message there would be, we are here in the hope to make your life better. That's it. You don't have to tie to too much of strategy. As I say, don't ASS too much too. Yeah. So this is important in the message. All this will determine your language, the kind of policy you want to share, the kind of data that can be shared. And I was reading some of your report. I used to help, I was in engineering faculty. I redid the engineering faculty department library. I used to help the students, final year students, to vet some of their report. And when I look at their report, I say, oh my gosh, what are you trying to say? You know, what are you trying to say? What do you want to achieve? Seriously? So when they are interviewing someone of an important project, you know who they interview? The person who built the house. Not the person who gave the money. Why do you want to build the house? So your target, the target communicator is very important. Okay. So the last part is, how do you know if you are successful? This I will share in how I approach the messaging for different levels of speakers. Okay, this is real example. So when the chairman speaks, he wants this 2 A4 size double space length. And he wants, why are we here? What did we do? How does it benefit you, if any? And what's next for us and you? So the strategy part is there, the process part is there, and the feedback or space part is there. Okay. The next is, I've written for 1, 2, 3 chairmen and 1, 2, 3, 4 CEOs. So all their styles are different. Now, this CEO is very challenging. He wants 3 points related to what is being shared. Is how is it aligned to the organization? What can we learn from it, from the organization aspect and also the recipients, the customers? And what's next? You know, what exciting things to look forward to? Yeah, even if it's the CS, Corporate Sustainability Initiative or Business Sustainability Program, they will also share. What's next is also considered sharing a bit of strategy and policy. The next CEO wanted, okay, what's the issue? And this CEO likes to share real life stories. So if he's talking to staff about HR initiative or a new product, he will share a real life experience of a Maybanker related to the issue. And this CEO always stresses that the leadership is committed to support you. This is very important. And then the third one is, what is your role to make it success? Okay. And when the group HR speaks, this one is very academic approach, but it's good for me because I was from the university before. So she wants to talk about, if you want to talk about, let's say, developing talents, she will want to share about the international benchmark on, let's say, giving women time off after, let's say, maternity leave. She looks at the international standard. She looks at what Malaysia benchmark is, what the industry benchmark is, and what the bank own benchmark is. So are we meeting, exceeding, or just starting? So she gives this perspective. Okay. The next is how what we are doing is aligned. You see, I go back again. It has to be aligned to your policies. It will be anchored on the vision and mission statement, to put it simply. And then why is what we are doing different? What's the differentiator of our maternity leave, for staff? I think when I was there, you're allowed, I think the maximum of 3 years leave. After that, you can come back, you still get a job. Yeah. And then what have we achieved so far in this initiative? At least 3 years data. And then what can we learn from it? And what's next? So this is an example. I think this was crafted by my side. Yeah. You see, in the first year of, I'm not sure whether Sunway, the Maybang Go Ahead Challenge, MGAC, yeah, where we took the best brains for this competition from the countries that we operate and come and experience what the Maybank culture is. And most of them were shocked. They thought Maybang is a government bank. Everyone is dilly-dally or sorry. You come back, you come to work late 5 times. Sorry about promotion. Serious. Sorry about promotion. So I'm so glad that I'm working in. Actually, Maybang is the top 20 bank in the world. We have to be proud. Yeah, I don't know why people go for international bank. Don't know. So then this year it is this, and then we have achieved how much? You say over time. Yeah, and all those fellas who are in the MGAC are offered jobs with Maybang. They're guaranteed a job because they are cream de la cream, as we call them. Okay, this one is when the sector head speaks. Okay, how do you in a sense share the corporate sustainability program? So sector head is about the doing things, the process. So this is what you should focus in your report. Yeah, not big picture too much. Okay, so you are speaking the language of the audience. So if you are speaking to Gen Z customers, you please use the canggih kind of medium. Yeah, don't use blackboard chalk all. They'll look at you and laugh. Use the buzzwords, include a lot of multimedia. Give them the works. Yeah. Okay, this is what I want to say. Words. I love what Kipling says. The most powerful drug, but while the mobile phone, I took this picture 2 weeks back at Mary Jane, if you know where it is. It's an electric cigarette. However, a weak message is still a weak message. This is why I always tell my staff. You may have the best AV equipment. The CEO looks like a film star, but the message is weak. No point. Okay, unless you're a cult member, any message will do. Okay, general format of storytelling. Yeah, this is important because based on the kind of report, it will determine your language, your content. So I just give it. So report is not only your student report. These are the different, and I've done most of these reports before. Even crisis, because I was also involved in crisis management. Crisis management report is a whole different ball game. Yeah. So these are the things that you need to consider when you are doing storytelling.
Andrew, sorry,
Yeah.
because we are already running over time. I think some of the students have to go for class. Can we finish up in, let's say, in 5 minutes?
Can.
Okay.
Okay, this is about storytelling. Yeah. What storytelling is. Okay, and these are the examples of what we do about storytelling. And this is the format of storytelling. You can look it up. The who, where, what, and why. This is very important. Okay, data collection. I was very particular about data collection. So I think Dr. Ong will know about this method, sample size, time frame, and benchmark. Okay, these are the things that I have sleepless nights providing. Seriously, sleepless night providing, checking the data 1001 times. For me, 1002. Now, presentation is also important. Citing data, this is also very important because my area of professional training is in library science. So I used to teach PhD students how to cite sources. Okay, so the sources that you use, make sure it's authoritative. If you're using official, public, or what, always cite your sources accurately. Like one student in engineering, I look at his references, he had Russian and French sources. So I asked, yeah, have you read this? I said, no, nah, but yeah, it looked nice with a lot of references. Don't give yourself enough rope to hang yourself, guys. Okay. So one is feedback. You can read on feedback. The feedback, these are the feedback that you can present. Yeah, visual form, data, is one-on-one, you do a survey, so on and so on. And there are benefits of feedback. Okay, photographic charts, table, video. Okay, these are also feedback. The sources of feedback. Who do you interview is also very important. Yeah, is it always the CEO or the recipients or customers or staff involved? It all depends on what you are sharing. Yeah, what level you are sharing. Using visuals is very important. I'm also very particular. These are all my visuals. So when you use a third-party visual, make sure you especially when you are using visuals for challenge communities, ask permission from the director and the person whether can use it or not. Yeah, and if you can use it, mask the face if possible. This all got permission. This was a group of kids. We had a tiger conservation program in a park. I asked the parents if I could use the kids because they like this bookmark. So I asked them, can we also use it for publications? They say, okay. So I took it and we use it. This is a Deepavali celebration for orphan kids. We cannot show the face. So I click it this way. Yeah. These are from the orphanage and they were at urban farming. We taught them this. Yeah. So these are the pictures that you can use. Now, the thing about using visual, this is the solar bulb that I went to, and these are acoustic kid, yeah, who did a dance. So when you use pictures, make sure you get permission, okay? Don't steal people's pictures. You'll be sued, okay? And also, if you need to mask the person's face, mask it. I prefer candid shots than stage shots. Yeah, this is very important. So these are just some of the channel examples. Here, I give you an example of why we are doing it, what we are doing, how we're doing it, learning and all this. So these are just some of the examples I go through. And the last part I want to share is you. Remember what you do has this butterfly effect. Yeah. And I think most of you know what the butterfly effect is. It's like when a butterfly flaps its wing, it can cause a tornado in India. Yeah. So, and the pay forward is what Maybang encourages. Pay forward means when you do something for somebody, instead of the fella paying you back, you ask the fella to pass it on to the other person. And this is the girl which I featured her. I saw her selling roti bakar on a scooter under taps, the first in Malaysia. So I featured her, I published her in Maybang, I put a contact and all. The star people who are the Sun people who I know went to interview her. She was so surprised, okay, to learn about her business. She was selling roti bakar to support her studies. So these are heartbreaking stories. So in my Facebook sharing, which I'm sorry I couldn't share with you, I put a contact number. I even put their web page. So there's always this feedback loop. And I helped one of my friends to promote his art. Okay, I cover a lot of art event. These are the group of Indian girls which I shot at a Deepavali, and they dance to support their studies. So I am not sure what happened, but when I met them, they said after I published the story, they will call corporate people asking them to perform for their what. These are the group of students who were trained by this Indian teacher, classical dance teacher, because these poor students did part-time dancing to support their studies. So I went there to take photograph for them to do a brochure free of charge. Okay. So these are the viewers. I took photograph for them so they can use it for their brochure. So it saves money for them. Yeah. And this is my group of people from my school days. And they are very active pay forward people. During the Aceh tsunami, they got together and in the morning to ask, hey, Andrew, we want to donate or not? We want to send something to Aceh, the tsunami. I said, no, I'm helping to raise like 2 or 3 million for the bank. So what they did was in the evening, they sent a container of foodstuff to Aceh. Yeah. So remember, this is how I continue my belief in sustainable development is this principle. Love people, use things. Not use people, love things. Okay, this is the group of dancers from Percussion, Malaysia. When I take photograph, I give it to them. They use it to promote themselves. And because of that, they invite me for their shows, FOC, you know, but I always go for the trial. Is it trial? Because there I can take the photos for them. And this I help one of this person in Kajang who promotes traditional games. So I went there to cover the event and publicize it and did some posters so that he could use it for him. Okay, this is my last one. Passion makes you stand out amongst the others. So I hope that when you go out to work, you know, things are sustainable development, do your part to make lives around you, you know, and yeah, lives around you better. Use the resources that you have. No, I'm happy the bank has given me resources, which I use it to pay forward. So yeah, I think that's about all.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I'm very, very encouraged because half the things that you have mentioned is the things that I have imparted to this class, and you have just not only reiterated it, but you have stamped it to say how important it is, especially when their generation go out to the working world, so that they don't only listen from an old academic, right? They think that we are always in an ivory tower, but I can now safely say that even the industry is looking at this and is saying that this is all important stuff. Unfortunately, time has run out. Sorry. The slides has already been sent to all of you. And with that, I'd like to thank Andrew for spending his time with us, doing such wonderful slides and a very important message, in fact, yeah, to everybody. I also want to thank my students for being with me. As you all know that today is my last day in Sunwin University. I'm hanging up 15 years of service in Sunwin University. So yes, you got the privilege of coming to my final class.
Yeah.
So
all the best, all the
thank
best.
you. I have given Mr. Andrews' email in the chat. So if you have any further questions, please email him. I'm sure that he'll be more than happy to reach out to all of you. He's a great contact. I've known him for what, 20 years, Andrew?
Yeah.
About 20 years, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
One last point.
Yeah.
I photography is a hobby. So I use photography and story writing to help people not to help people do a better Facebook page or whatever. I do it on gratis basis. I don't charge. So if you know anyone who wants to, in a sense, improve their website, you know, you just contact me and see how we can work together. Yeah. Because I have, in a sense, in the past done my bit quietly to help those, but I don't charge. Yeah. Okay.
But just remember, if you want his services, remember to give him the pay it forward message, the strategy. Don't just do it for your own own thing only, but make sure there's a pay it forward. I know
Okay.
because when I talk to Andrew, you don't bullshit with him. You better make sure you know what you're saying. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and to my students, thank you so much for being with me and tolerating me after all this. And all the best, everybody, and goodbye. Goodbye,
Okay,
Andrew.
goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.